We are finally back over at the mobile home property, and today we're going to be trying to build some front steps leading up into the home so that we don't have to make the leap to get inside. Now for the front of the home, we want to keep it simple. We don't want to take up a lot of space up here. We don't need a deck, so we're just going to do a simple landing with some steps coming down to the drive area, which will be right here where we're standing. And now there are several options of how we could build these, but I decided I want to revisit a project we did several years ago when we were in Michigan. We built some kind of unique steps for our back door, and I liked how they came out, but I felt like I could have improved it. This is my chance. I'm going to go back, I'm going to improve and do a new and improved version, see how it comes out. So it's going to be interesting, a little bit different, and I think it'll work good for this situation. They're going to be freestanding, so we're not going to put any posts in the ground. We just want this to be a floating step unit that can be moved if needed. And I'm going to start by building a simple wooden base that we can level up, and that'll be the foundation of our step unit. Up inside there on the back. One more in here. Set it down. All right, we have the start of something. This is going to be the base for the steps. And now we're going to basically repeat this step, and we're going to stack these going up step by step. There it is. I did add a cross support here because I felt like these were winging out a little, had a bow. Other than that, we just level it up. It's just plopped on the ground, and we're going to get framing the rest. The next layers are going to be 2x6s. These are 2x4s, so we're going to go thicker, but it's the same exact process. All right, guys, we're getting a little bit of weather, some rain coming down, but we're still working. I'm going to get the next one stacked up. We just built the next frame. I don't think I get any lighter each time.
I know, it feels the same the whole time.
Well, the rain's getting to be too much, so we're going to take a break and clean up. Well, guys, we are back at it again today, ready for the next layer we just built. So we're going to get it stacked up, and then there's one final tier. Now, so far these are just stacked up on top of each other, loose, but we will be securing them soon. But before we do that, we're going to build the top layer. This one's going to be a little bit different than the rest, but essentially the same process. Just for visual consistency, let's put the ugly side in with the text. Well, we made it to the top. It's starting to look like something. It's coming together. Now we have to join these together so that they're one unit. So what I've done is just attached a 2x4 right to the side, screwed it into all the boxes, so that back corner is locked into place. I'm gonna put another one here, two on the other side, get this all locked together.
We're gonna need to level or plumb this, right?
I don't know, maybe. Okay, good. I'm happy with that. So now I'm gonna connect it with some, you know, rails. You want to cut these after?
Yeah.
Give me a screw. There we go. Okay.
Ant was biting me.
Whew. So yesterday we finished up one side of the spindles of the railing. Today we're working on this side. So we're gonna get right into it. Is this the good one? I don't want this edge.
Well, put it up on the next one.
Up here?
Yeah.
Can I have that up, or should I do something like?
That's fine. Go ahead.
You don't mind that?
No.
That's a good idea. This looks nice, but it's cupping, so I think I have to put it this way. Okay guys, we just ripped down the last piece of deck board that's going to be going in here. And now I'm going to go through and pre-drill the edges and screw those down. I only did the middle. because I was getting a little bit of splitting at the edges. So we're gonna pre-drill it to minimize splitting. I'll get it all screwed down, and I think the project is finished. We'll take a look at it and, you know, see how we did. We are done. Look at that, it looks really good. I'm really happy with it. It was pretty simple in concept. It was simple to build. Took some time. We're just stacking up layers. Now, a couple of flaws with this is that the wood will shrink. It's very wet. So the wood will shrink, and I'm not sure what that's gonna do for the stacking. So we'll keep an eye on it. You know, I don't know if it'll make it have gaps between each layer as they shrink, and will that change the stability? We might have to loosen up our side supports and let it all settle again and screw it back in. Not a big deal. But speaking of the wet wood, I need to bring up another thing, is that we didn't gap our deck boards. And I know literally every time we do a deck, people say, you were supposed to gap your boards. So let me explain that when the wood is wet like this, it's fully expanded, as wide as it can ever get. And it can only shrink from here. So what we do is we put our deck boards right up tight to each other, knowing they will shrink and self-gap. So while these boards are pretty tight right now, in a couple of weeks, they're gonna have 3/8 inch gaps or bigger. They're gonna be huge gaps. And if you start out with a gap, if you put any kind of gap between these, you're gonna have huge gaps by the time they dry out. And it's gonna look terrible. So that's why we don't gap our boards. Only gap it if it's dry wood. If it's wet wood, leave it tight. You know, look at this. This is pretty stiff, and I was not sure if these 2x4s were gonna work. Most people use 4x4 posts, but I said, you know what? I don't wanna do that because it just seemed like a hassle. They were heavy and they cost more. So I just used 2x4s, and it actually feels pretty rigid. Now I do wanna stain this wood. I would like it to look better, but we can't stain it right now. The wood is wet, so we have to let it dry out. We'll give it some time. Once it's a little drier, we might come back through and give it a nice wood stain, make it look better. But it does look good with the house. We wanted to keep it simple up here. We didn't want a huge deck. We just needed something simple to get into the house. Mission accomplished. Some of you guys might have noticed that there is a bush in the way. It just happens that this bush is right at the bottom of our steps, blocking the path. Eventually we will dig it up and move it, but right now we just don't have the means or the patience to deal with that. It is a nice bush. It's a flowering bush. Evie wants to save it. We will try to save it and replant it somewhere. For now, it didn't interfere with the build, so we left it. It's fine. We'll move that later. So now that those steps are done, we're going to start planning the back steps, the back deck. It's going to be a small deck area. It'll be a little larger, a little bit different, so that'll be a project of all its own. We're going to do that soon. We also have some inside work to do. We have to get that mobile home finished. So hopefully we can keep pushing and get back to that project. I know we've been away for a little while. We've just been busy around our property, getting ready for spring, getting ready for gardens. You know, we've made some big progress over here, but definitely have to keep working on the mobile home. So thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.
Bye.